Going into the season, it was clear Ohio State had a backfield that could be lethal in 2022 with TreyVeyon Henderson and Miyan Williams. It's also been clear through the first 4 games of the season who has been the better back in 2022. That is Miyan Williams. And I have this question for you today. Who should be Ohio State's starting running back right now? We'll discuss that and a whole lot more today on Locked on Buckeyes.
You are Locked on Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked on Buckeyes for the Locked on Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 28th in the year 2022, and I want to thank you for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. On today's episode, we will discuss an easy way the Ohio State offense can be even better, and it's Wednesday. So we have a fresh edition of Stock Up and Stock Down. But before we get to any of that, the question of the day is who should be Ohio State's starting running back? Now, you might be somebody that says, Jay, why is this a question? Let's go to the recruiting rankings. Who was the higher ranked recruit? That should be the starter. Wrong. Bad argument. Bad way to go about doing this thing and making this decision. You might say, Jay, who was better last year and who has and put those stats with this year? Just go by the numbers. Who has had the better career numbers-wise at Ohio State? Wrong. Once again, wrong way to go about figuring out and answering this question. When answering this question, yes, numbers play a part in it, but also allow your eyeballs to dictate what you see and how you come to the conclusion you are going to come to when answering who should be Ohio State's starting running back right now. Going into the season, even right now, I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that TreyVeyon Henderson is the more talented running back. And he may, even at his best, be somebody that could be a high pick a first-round pick in the NFL draft. At his best, at his peak. But as we have seen through the first 4 games, the peak has not been this year. The peak may have been last year as far as when his best play at Ohio State has been. I do think next year, another year under his belt, Henderson will be a phenomenal back. I'm hoping, I hope he is a phenomenal back. But so far this year, my eyeballs have told me the offense is better when Miyan Williams is in the backfield. Now, I did kind of discuss this on I believe it was Monday's show at the end of it when I was talking about Cade Stover and Miyan Williams and their importance to Ohio State's win over the weekend. But it goes deeper than just the Wisconsin game. If you want to go to the numbers and look to see what the numbers say, TreyVeyon Henderson leads the team in carries. He has 50 carries on the season. Miyan Williams has 43. TreyVeyon Henderson also leads the team in rushing yards, 318 on the ground for Miyan Williams, 308. The startling thing is this. They both have 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. Miyan Williams has 3 receptions. TreyVeyon Henderson has 0. But with the yards per carry, and I can even go another step further with this, Miyan Williams leads the team in yards per carry with 7. Minus Emeka Egbuka. But if you just go by the running backs that have gotten, the top 3 running backs that have gotten the most carries that have played in all 4 games, Miyan Williams has 7.2 yards per carry. TreyVeyon Henderson is 6.4. Now, that's just by the numbers to say who, when they get the ball, who gets more yards. Williams almost has a full yard more per touch per carry than Henderson does. You might say, Jay, why is that? Now, I touched on the durability of TreyVeyon Henderson. I'm not trying to use that right now and say that's part of the discussion today, even though you could simply say, the first 3 games, Henderson had to be pulled out due to injury or due to an ailment, whatever it was. He had to be taken out of the game due to some physical things that happened on the field, and you don't want those things to happen. But what I have seen with this offense, is that when Miyan Williams gets rolling and he allows his physicality, and if you want to call him pork chop still, you can, to keep on rumbling and rolling and getting up and down the field, I think his play helps the play of the offensive line. I actually think that his play helps the play of even the receivers that are out there blocking, because the receivers that are blocking, they are more in tuned and more inclined to go a little bit harder with the blocks if they know the guy running the ball will probably be there right behind them as the receiver then becomes a lead blocker. The offense flows better with Miyan Williams. The offense is something that is really interesting because in rushing games, in rushing yardage, now there was a 4th and 1. I talked about it at one time. Miyan Williams got hit, I believe, at the line of scrimmage or shortly thereafter, but still not to the first down marker. Ran over that guy, but then also skedaddled for a 9-yard gain on the right side. And I mentioned that on purpose because if I want a guy as my starter who can break tackles, it does not go down at first contact or is very durable and breaks quite a bit of tackles, Miyan Williams is that guy, not TreyVeyon Henderson. So it's not a 2015 situation with the quarterbacks when you went into the season. J.T. Barrett, Cardell Jones, who's going to be the starter. J.T. Barrett got hurt in 2014 in the Michigan game. Cardell Jones had a phenomenal 3-game run. He just won trophies. The Big Ten Championship, the Sugar Bowl, then the Natty, and back-to-back starts, his first 3 starts at Ohio State. This is nothing like that because that was a different situation where even the coaching staff didn't know what they kind of didn't want to make a decision on who the starting quarterback should be. I think a starter right now should be Miyan Williams, and I have no problem saying that. The offense flows better. The offense is better when he's on the field. He has been the better back so far this season. Now, is he better in a backup role over a starter? I don't think so. Just watch and see and wait and see. There was a thing I noticed over the weekend as well. When Henderson was a featured back and Miyan Williams was not out there, the offense didn't move, buddy. Those were some long drives in the second half when Henderson was on the field. Take all of that into account. My money, if I say who do I want as RB1 at Ohio State, it's Miyan Williams right now based off what I have seen this year, not TreyVeyon Henderson. Henderson might be more talented, but, buddy, my eyeballs are telling me this offense moves better when number 3 is in the backfield, toting the rock. Toting the rock, Miyan Williams and TreyVeyon Henderson do that very well. But is that one thing the Buckeyes can do, hand the ball off more to make the offense more lethal in 2022? We'll discuss that, and I'll tell you if that's the key next right here on Locked On Buckeyes. BetOnline.net is your number 1 source for all your betting needs and sports info this season. Find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles and analysis on every game you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sport wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The latest, fastest, and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events is BetOnline.net. And you can get your information on Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to BetOnline.net or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Buckeyes here on this Wednesday Hump Day edition. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes on the Odyssey app, the Apple Podcast app, the Spotify app, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your fine podcasts. You can find Locked On Buckeyes in the audio version. Head on over to the YouTube as well. Subscribe there. There will be some videos of things that are coming up that are only on the YouTube. That will not be on the audio version. And also, slide into the comment section. Would you like live post-game shows? Not a full 30-minute recap, but more 10 to 15-minute variety? Let me know in the comment section. Do you want a live reaction to the game? Let me know. Those might be coming your way as well. Those will be live only and exclusively on the YouTube page for Locked On Buckeyes. So we just talked about who the starting running back should be at Ohio State. Clearly, to me, it's been easy this year. If you're trying to make some wrinkles and trying to change some things up, Miyan Williams, starter, over TreyVeyon Henderson. I understand who's more talented. My eyeballs have told me that one thing very, very true. My eyeballs have also told me, and my brain has also showed me, that maybe there's a way you can use the running backs, those two guys specifically, but also the other guys that come onto the field to make the offense more lethal in 2022. As it stands right now, let's go to the numbers. Jay doesn't normally use the numbers on the show very much, but let's go ahead and see what the numbers say about the Ohio State offense right now. The Buckeyes are averaging 339 passing yards per game, 339.0. The offense, the passing percentage of the offense, this is two quarterbacks in Stroud and McCord, is at 70.7% completion percentage for both of those guys. Devin Brown has played, but he has not thrown any passes just yet. Buckeyes are averaging 4.3 passing touchdowns per game. On the ground, they're averaging 219.8 rushing yards per game. That's good, averaging 5.9 yards a pop and 2.5 touchdowns on the ground per game. Here's some more numbers that might startle you. The Buckeyes are averaging 558.8 yards per game total offense. That's insane. That's absurd. Here's something else that's going to startle you. They're averaging 8.2 yards per play. Oh my gosh. This is stupid. They're less than 2 yards away from averaging a first down every time they have a play. That's insane. Go back to the numbers once again. Going back to the running backs. This is a running back conversation. We're going to continue with those guys. There have been 5 running backs that have played, 6 if you want to count Mitch Rossi, the fullback role. So 6 guys that have got the ball handed to them in the backfield. TreyVeyon, Henderson, Miyan, Williams, Dallin, Hayden, TC Caffey, Caden Saunders, and then Mitch Rossi. Rossi had a touchdown, a fullback dive on the goal line. I think it was beautiful to see. Now, among those guys, only 2 of them have caught passes this season. 2 players have caught 5 passes, and they have scored 0 times through the air as running backs. Miyan Williams has caught the ball 3 times for 23 passing yards. Dallin Hayden has caught the ball 2 times for 13 passing yards. That's it. That's all we got. So if I look at the Buckeye receivers, Emeka Egbuka leads the way with 26 receptions on the season. Marvin Harrison Jr. has 21. Case Stover has 12. Fleming has 7. Jaden Ballard has 6. David Johnson has 5. And so on and so forth. One thing is startling to me is that when you think about an elite or a lethal offensive attack, you generally find a way to get the ball to the running backs in multiple ways. May it be a handoff, may it be a sweep, may it be a toss, may it be a quick screen, a bubble pass, a pass out to the flats, whatever it is. You find different ways to get the ball to the backs. What we have seen this year is they have not gotten the ball in the passing game. And I talk about all the time how you can utilize Cade Stover, the tight end, to open up passing windows for Egbuka and Harrison Jr. and Xavier Johnson and Julian Fleming. You can use Stover to open up passing windows for those guys. But do you want to know how you can open up the passing windows for everybody? Get the running back involved in the passing game. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story, something I have done that was not wise. There has been quite a few years in between myself going to the dentist, probably taking care of my teeth, and now. This year, I have made numerous trips to the dentist, and it's been worth it. Hasn't been cheap, but it's been worth it. Recently got my teeth cleaned today, and they feel good. But the hygienist even said, like, hey, you got to start. Didn't say you got to start taking better care of your teeth, but they gave me some advice on some ways to help my teeth, since I have not probably taken care of them in quite a long time. But in this whole time period, I have been trying to. This year has been a year of improvement. Not even like a word that I utilize. It just happened to be like that. Is the word of the year is improvement. And I have found different ways to improve my life. Some things have just happened naturally. Some things have been just me making effort and putting energy into different things to assist me. Those of you watching via the YouTube, you see a bottle of water. Not an Ice Mountain bottle of water, but it's Camelback. I bought this at Target a couple weeks ago. And one thing I've done over the past few weeks, I can't say months, but weeks, is drink a whole lot more water. And one way to do that is to buy a water bottle that I can just drink. I fill up throughout the day, keep on drinking to help my system to be healthier. But these are things I have done to improve myself, improve my body. And when it comes to the teeth, there was a time I did phenomenal things to the teeth, and I took care of them very, very well. Even had braces twice. But now, as I got older, I kind of went away from the things that I knew that would work. I kind of went away from the things that I knew would make my teeth be successful and be clean and healthy. Even with the body, I've gone away from things that I know would allow me to be healthier, be better. And I think the Ohio State offense is very similar to myself, different scale, but the Ohio State offense knows. Ryan Day knows. Kevin Wilson knows. One of the best things you can do to make your offense better is to utilize every skill position in every way. Utilize every offensive lineman in their skill set in every way. Now, maybe their skill set doesn't go to everything, but you can help them and coach them in the offseason and throughout the season to be better in every way as an offensive lineman. And so I talk about my teeth and how I was doing well, didn't do the best, but I started making improvements. I see them instantly, even prior to going to get my teeth cleaned before recording this here podcast. So the Ohio State offense, I think it's simple. They know how to make this thing better. They know how to make the offense go and click even better and even potentially average 575, 580 yards per game, maybe even 600. Is that possible? Yes. Would it be scary? Absolutely. But how can they do that? Utilize what you know. You kind of go away from certain things, utilize those things and those players in a different way. You make improvements just like I have made improvements with my teeth and with my health. Improve the offense. Get the running backs involved in the passing game. It's not rocket science. It's not crazy. This is real. This is football. Some of the best running backs that we've ever seen are good rushing the ball and also good catching the ball out of the backfield. I think we have seen Henderson and Williams be threats out of the backfield in the passing game. How about you utilize them a little bit more in 2022? It's alarming and astonishing and crazy to think and to believe and to know that TreyVeyon Henderson has not caught a pass in 2022. Now, granted, first game and the third game, he did get pulled. The game against Notre Dame and the game against Toledo, he did get pulled due to injury and due to the health. He wasn't able to go the whole way, so that could be why. But he was played a couple games. Arkansas State on the 10th of September, Wisconsin the 24th of September. It was even more of a featured back in the second half when he was on the field against Wisconsin on the 24th of September. Get that man the ball, not just hand the ball off to him. Pass the ball to him. Make improvements with the offense and allow us, Buckeye people that cover the sport, cover the team, and Buckeye fans to realize, hey, we want this thing to be the best it can be, and it can be even better if you throw the ball to the running backs out of the backfield and involve them in the passing game. Stock up, stock down. This is the only part of the show that there are no running backs here on this part. I can add one. You can probably guess who it is, but I got stock up, stock down to close out the show. You'll recognize all the names here. One might be surprising until you hear what he did. We'll discuss this next to close out today's show right here on Locked on Buckeyes. Stock up, stock down. It's that time of the day. It's that time of the week. I'll add one more because I've been talking about running backs the entire time. I got 4 for stock up, only 1 for stock down. But it's not even only like, I'll explain stock down in a minute and explain to you why it's only 1. Buckeyes won 52-21. There's numerous things I could say about that game, but you'll understand stock down once we get there. Stock up on Miyan Williams. Was 11 carries, 100 plus rushing yards. This young man continues to ball. This young man continues to make plays. This young man continues to be the best back that has played at Ohio State in 2022. He continues to be that guy. His durability, his physicality, you can't take it down on first contact. He knows how to use his center of gravity, knows how to use his frame, knows how to use his mass, knows how to use his muscle. This young man is a difference maker. And against Wisconsin, we saw once again what Miyan Williams can do when he has the ball in his hand. Stock up on Miyan Williams. Stock up on Jair Brown. Think about how crazy this is. The availability report came out. Cam Brown wasn't going to play. Jordan Hancock wasn't going to play. So you would be without 2 of your top 4 corners. You surely thought it was going to be Ja'Kalen Johnson and Denzel Burke, who was going to get who would be the starting corners at Ohio State. Pre-game on the Twitter, I was seeing, Burke has a club on his hand. Burke might not be ready to go. He went through pregame warm-ups. It was automatically, or it was ruled that he would not be eligible to play due to injury. In comes Jair Brown. And outside of one pass interference call that I even think in the moment was not pass interference, this young man did a phenomenal job in his first start at Ohio State. A phenomenal job. And you may say, Jay, Wisconsin's passing attack is not good. But Wisconsin had to pass the ball. Like, let's just not try to sugarcoat it. Wisconsin had to pass the ball. They got down early. Big early. And they needed to pass the ball a little bit. And Jair Brown did a phenomenal job. And think about how nervous you're going to be. National television, you're on ABC. You have Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit calling the game. That may not be nothing to you, but to people out there that are listening, that means something to the player, but that means something to you. You're in the shoe. Once again, the Buckeyes have 100,000 plus in the shoe, 105,000 plus once again for the 3rd time this year. Fill up the Ohio Stadium. You're wearing all black uniforms. It's a blackout out there. The lights can be too bright for some people. I have seen the lights be too bright for some people all my entire life of watching the football. It wasn't that way for Jair Brown, man. He was balling. He played phenomenal football. And I got to give him stock up on Jair Brown, but he's phenomenal in your first start at Ohio State. Stock up on Cade Stover. Can we realize that maybe Ryan Day didn't utilize other tight ends in that way because they didn't possess and they aren't able to do the things that Stover does on the football field? Some guys are really good blockers. Some guys are pass-catching tight ends or receiving tight ends. Some guys, they can't do both. Sometimes some guys can do a little bit of both, but not do them excellent. Cade Stover, they described this man on the broadcast, I believe it was Chris Fowler with this call, called Cade Stover country strong. That ain't your everyday strong. Country strong is different. And that's a phenomenal phrase to describe Cade Stover because in the run game, he is a problem. You do not want to get blocked by Cade Stover. You do not want his paws on your pads because the next thing you know, you are coming towards him. And then after that, you're going the opposite way, backwards, as he is running you away and blocking. There was a play to the left side of the line. It was a handoff, I believe, to Miyan Williams left. I believe Stover was offset left, off the line, still tied in left, and then Paris Johnson was there. Paris Johnson had to push his man in, block down. I don't know why I can't think. It was a reach block. He wanted to block down. It was a reach block, but he reached and turned his guy inside of the Ohio State offensive line. Stover was the one who had the kick out block, and Stover got that. And you come over all you want about Paris Johnson Jr., his reach block. Cade Stover, my gosh, you could have fit a Mack truck through that hole. And Stover kept moving his man away to widen that hole, and Miyan Williams ran right through it. We can marvel at his pass catching ability, but let's not forget his blocking. That is as key to this offense as him catching passes for Ohio State in 2022. Also, stock up for Jesse Mirko, the punter. First time all year I have mentioned the punter in this stock up, stock down edition every single Wednesday. Think about how wild it is. You're a punter. You're on the sidelines all game. You really don't think with the way the game's going, you're going to get on the field. Now, granted, you're doing your warm-ups on the sidelines. You're staying loose when you need to be, knowing how to stay nimble and fresh and flexible so that when it's your time to go out there on the field, you can kick the ball and make the ball go where you want it to go. I think he only had one punt in this game, and it was down inside the 5. One time on the field. At least as a punting, doing what you're supposed to do, what you're called at Ohio State to do, and the ball is down inside the 5. Stock up for Jesse Mirco. Stock down. Only one thing for stock down. And no, it's not about the Ohio State administration and the coaches and how they use the availability report. Not doing that one this week. Just keep your foot on the gas, man. 1. Wisconsin scored multiple times in the second half. Now, one of them was a 75-yard run by Braylon Allen against the backups of Ohio State. Now, granted, I understand it, but keep your foot on the gas. Early in the game, I was watching this game with my girlfriend like I have every game this year, and I told her, I said, Ohio State can score 60 or 70 points again today. Like, I literally thought that after the first few minutes of the game. But it didn't happen. Those long drives in the second half really derailed the progress that I thought Ohio State was going to make in this game of them scoring 60 or 70 points, because there was no reason why they should have only scored 52 points in this game. No. They should have scored. They are 40 points better than Wisconsin. At least I thought they were. Maybe I was wrong. Will it be 40 points better than the Rutgers Scarlet Knights? What's my score prediction? Oh, buddy. Y'all got to wait for that one to come back later this week right here on Locked on Buckeyes. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. Just as Jay has been improving his life, improving his teeth, and doing things that he knows he can do and he should have been doing all along to make his life, his health, his teeth the best they can be, Ohio State's offense can do the same thing. I'm reiterating something I said earlier. Can do that as well. Do something you know you can do, something you've done in the past, but do it consistently now. Get those running backs involved in the passing game. We might see that Saturday against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Guys, I'm out of here on this Wednesday, this hump day edition of Locked on Buckeyes. We'll be back tomorrow with a preview of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights and know more about that opponent and really to learn why the spread is so large. Out of here, guys. Have a great day.